Dear friends, welcome to Friday Focus on Friday the 21st of May. First, some feedback from Wednesday's daily update about Moses delegating leadership in Deuteronomy chapter 1. One person suggested that shared leadership is a better phrase than delegated leadership, because it reminds us that the leadership of God's people is given by God and shared with many of us, rather than given to Moses or to the rector and shared by him. Someone else, recalling a sermon by Andrew Dow, a previous rector of our church, on this topic, passed on the helpful motto, "Do what only you can do." And this applies to everyone involved in church life, not just the leadership. It's a good way of ensuring that the right gifts or talents are used in the right way by the right people and no one gets overburdened. So, you might be good at making tea and coffee for Cameo, which is a really important role. But if you're also the only person in church who can handle heights and fix things up a ladder, maybe somebody else should be making the tea while you get on with the DIY. You see the point. And another person reminds us that the triune God, Father, Son and Holy Spirit, is the ultimate team. They work in perfect harmony, each doing what only that person can do, whilst being completely committed to who the others are and what they're doing. Well, it's great to have feedback from the daily updates. Do keep it coming. Now, the new PCC met for the first time on Monday evening. Under the current COVID rules as trustees of a charity, we met in person, which was a great joy after over a year of being on Zoom. Here's a summary of what we discussed. The full minutes will be available on the church website soon. We co-opted 4 new members to the PCC who've not been on the electoral roll for 6 months and so couldn't be elected at the APCM. Ollie Parker, Sarah Tilson, Tony Whitbread and Nerys Joyce. We also elected our officers for this year. Lay chairs, Bill Harvey and Claire Salisbury, Treasurer Adrian Boucher, PCC Secretary Jill Sage, Minute Secretary Rachel Hargreave and Electoral Roll Secretary Jill Sage. We elected the Standing and Finance Committee and the Buildings and Fabric Committee, and you can see the names of those people on the daily update. Our main topic for discussion was the 5 strategic priorities that I presented at the APCM. The PCC spent some time in smaller groups discussing the priorities and then putting them in order of importance. The overall feedback was that re-establishing relationships after lockdown is really important, but this must be done in the context of outreach. This will enable new connections from all parts of the church membership and will build the kingdom. We then had a discussion about how we can support Annie in her role as youth worker and plan for her successor in 2 years' time if Simon is recommended for theological training at his forthcoming Bishop's Advisory Panel. The PCC are very keen to support and encourage the youth ministry and agreed to ask Annie to present at the next PCC in July. Julia Saws, one of our parish safeguarding officers for children and young people, explained about the new diocesan safeguarding dashboard, which will enable us to store our policies and procedures in one place and keep a record of those who are required to take safeguarding training for their roles in the church. She also reported on her termly meetings with Jane and Annie and on some current safeguarding concerns. Adrian Boucher, our Treasurer, reported that even though our income is still down on last year because of loss of revenue from lettings, our accounts are still healthy, showing a modest surplus. And then finally, Bill Harvey reported back on the latest developments on the Minster Churchyard project. We've got a great new PCC who I'm looking forward to working with, and I'm very grateful to them. God bless you all today.